Brenda Quintana coming to you from the Beehive. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute note card using the number of years stamp set. And the flowers in this stamp set are 2-step, so you can stamp the greenery in the background and then all the flowers. And that makes this card look really special, but it doesn't take all that much work. So let me show you how to make this card. To start off with, you're going to use a package of Whisper White note cards and envelopes. And I'm just going to pull out a note card here. If you don't have a note card, you can make one by cutting a piece of cardstock to 7 inches by 5 inches and then scoring in half at the 3.5 inch mark. We're going to start off stamping this card in the landscape direction, and you're going to want to have a Pacific Point ink pad. Let me open this up. And we're going to be using the happy and the birthday from the number of years stamp set. And I've put it on this big long block. We're just going to ink that up and stamp it in the bottom right hand corner of the card. And then let's set the ink pad aside for a moment. And I want to draw a little line so I know where to stamp my greenery. I'm going to use my grid paper. Each of these little squares is 1/4 inch. So if I count up 4 squares, I can draw a line, and that's going to be 1 inch up from the bottom. And now I'll know where to stamp my stems. I'm going to use the old olive ink pad. And I'm going to ink up this piece. It's just a bunch of stems and leaves. And this one I'm going to stamp right in the middle of the card with the bottom of the stems touching the pencil line. So like that. Then I'm going to ink it up again. And I'm going to stamp it over the side. I want to make sure, see this stem right here? I want to make sure there's enough room for me to put that one blossom, that lilac blossom, right over on the side. So I'm just going to leave enough of a gap right there and make sure the stems also touch on the bottom like that. And then we just need to do one more on the other side. And this time I'm just going to make sure that this stem right here has enough room for this flower right there. So don't put it all too close, so that you have room for that little flower. Okay, we can set that aside. Next, let's bring in our Calypso Coral ink pad, and we're going to use these 2 little roses that are on this one stamp together. I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to turn this so that I can hit these 2 stems right at the same time. I'm just going to line it up with the top of the stem with my roses and stamp down like that. And I need to do that 3 times. I'm just repeating the pattern here. Makes it easy, and it still looks beautiful. Like that. Then let's bring in our Wisteria Wonder ink pad, and this flower that looks like a lilac blossom or a hyacinth bulb. And I'm going to stamp that in Wisteria Wonder. There's just a little bit peeking out right here at the bottom corner. This one you'll see a little bit better. Make sure you angle it into that white space like that. And then this one over here like that. Then let's bring in our Pacific Point ink pad again. We used that originally to stamp the happy birthday. And we've got this tiny little flower. And we're going to stamp this twice on every blossom. So you can see right here there's a little bit of a gap. That's where the flower goes, and then right here. So you're just going to move that into position like that and like that. Even if you're a little bit off, there's so much going on in this floral pattern that no one's going to notice a tiny little error if you're off a little bit. The color variation is so nice on this. So that's all the stamping. Then I'm going to use some of this pretty paper from the Pretty Petals Designer Series paper stack, and you can see there's a lot of different colors. I chose to go with a 1 color down here at the bottom. You could pretty much choose to use any of the one color combinations. So I stuck to just the Calypso Coral here, and I've cut this piece to 5 inches by 1/2 inch, and I'm actually going to glue this right over top of that pencil line so I don't even have to erase it. I'm just going to take a little bit of this Tombow and just put a couple of dots on the end and a line down the center, and then I'm just going to adhere that right to my card, kind of center it, make sure there's enough white space above my happy birthday, like that. Like that. So to finish off this card, I thought it'd be pretty just to have a little bit of baker's twine. This is the Calypso Coral baker's twine, and I need about 18 inches. My grid paper is 16 inches long, so I'm just gonna go beyond that about 2 inches. And I'm just going to wrap this around my card and tie a bow over here on the side. Like that. It's pretty good. And then you can just trim off the ends a little bit. All right, that looks good. Then all we need to do is fold the card along the score line. I'm going to use my bone folder to smooth it down. And there you go, a card's finished, and it's really pretty. Lots of bright colors in this card and just a little bit of ribbon. Very easy to do. Remember, you've also got your envelopes, and you can stamp that same stamp right on the front of one of your envelopes, which would look really pretty. Here's the card I first made up, and then I also made this card in a full-size card, a 5.5 inch by 4.25 card. The only difference that I did from the note card is I cut my designer series paper piece a little wider to 3/4 inch instead of 1/2 inch, and I also moved this up. Let me see, I moved it up. I did about 1.5 inches from the bottom instead of just 1 inch from the bottom. So you could also transition this over into a larger card. Aren't these cards beautiful? All the supplies you'll need to make this note card are available for purchase on my blog. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Bye for now.